So we're talking to folks about what they think about John McCain's energy and climate policy. So I guess first, maybe, what do you think about his energy plan and being from Texas, where it's a big issue?
We had a big thing in Texas called that Newt Gingrich actually started, called Drill Here, Drill Now, and Pay Less. And we're absolutely in favor of doing exactly that. East Texas is a mother lode for natural gas. We really need to be getting into that. We also have a lot of black gold down there that we need to pull out. And the idea that anybody is going to say that we don't need to drill now is living in a world that is unrealistic. We need to be drilling right now in order to be able to have it as soon as possible. Those people who are saying that it will make a difference for 10 years haven't talked to the people in the oil industry yet. I think the ones I'm talking to say onshore, if we drill, it'll be in the market in a year and a half, and offshore shallow, it'll be in the market in 2.5, and offshore deep, it'll be in the market within 5. So all this, it'll take 10 years, is not true at all, and we have an energy crisis that needs to be identified and dealt with right now. Looking at alternatives, yes, looking at natural gas, looking at solar, looking at wind power, looking at coal, looking at all of the, and particularly looking at nuclear. And John McCain is endorsing going after all of those and use every one of them, and all of them can be done environmentally sound. So there's no reason to withhold on any of it. We need to diversify in order to get our energy.
What do you think about his climate change plan? I mean,
his climate change plan?
Yeah, cap and trade, scheme, for price on carbon.
Well, I'll say that I don't think that carbon offsets are realistic. That is only allowing those who can afford to pollute as much as they want to, and that's an Al Goreism more so than a John McCainism, and algorithms don't work very well.
But McCain's plan does call for a cap and trade plan, so essentially people would have to buy carbon credits.
He isn't crazy. It is crazy, and he's more instituting and talking about going after alternative energy sources rather than what looking at carbon reductions and being able to buy offsets. Buying offsets, like I said, is a good plan for people like Al Gore, who are multimillionaires who afford those things. And by the way, he's buying them from his own company. And he's making money off them buying carbon offsets from his own company. So that's a complete hypocrisy in its own part.
But McCain himself has called for a cap and trade plan, essentially, that would make people buy carbon credits. Is that something you support? I mean, it would.
Well, I don't think that carbon credits are a thing that I could support personally. Do I support McCain? Do I support McCain on virtually everything he says? No, I don't. But I support him on about 99% of what he says.
Thanks. You too. How about you? What do you think about the energy?
Do I know anything about it?
What do you think about it?
Well, number one, I'm in the oil and gas business and have been for 20 years, and I know there's some realities of life that we have to deal with. For instance, in our case as a state, what we have to deal with as a country. The facts of the matter are we're importing 70% of all the oil we're using. The other fact is there's no way that we can possibly produce our domestic needs, and so consequently we've got to do other things. We've got to look at alternative sources of energy. There's no question about it. We've got to be drilling offshore. We've got to be doing everything we can to at least bring on board what we can while we're developing the viable sources of alternative energy. The oil industry supports developing additional alternatives to oil and gas. We know it because we're realists. But the facts of the matter are, some of these things are going to take a much longer period of time. Some may not be viable at all. We don't know, but we can try them all. And as far as these carbon trade-offs, it's kind of crazy. It makes no sense whatsoever. We need to be drilling in Anwar. We need to be drilling offshore. We need to be drilling some of the big fields we got now. We're exploring the Haynesville and the Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana area. We're developing the Barnett Shale in central Texas. We're doing the Bakken Formation, for instance, up in northwest North Dakota. There's a lot of things that we need to do as a nation that's only responsible. But we don't need a bunch of pie-in-the-sky so-called opinions based on some phony political rhetoric that means nothing.
So you don't support McCain's idea for a cap and trade plan for carbon?
I support the viable development of oil, of gas, many sources, and do everything within our power to develop the alternative sources of energy as well.
So you're in oil in Texas. What do you think about Boone Pickens' big wind call recently?
His big wind deal?
Yeah.
Well, number one, He's talking about the center of that being in Gray County and Roberts County. I own property in one of those counties. Boone Pickens and I'm probably Boone Pickens' biggest enemy over the years. But let me tell you something. What Boone Pickens wants to do is absolutely right. Not bad coming from a guy that has been in battle with the man. His plan to try to get the alternative sources of energy make an awful lot of sense. And he'll be glad to know that I said that.
So why is he your biggest enemy?
Well, I caused him problems many, many years ago when his company was located in my hometown.
Okay. Let me